for Wes and JC here.
Yo, what is up, everybody? This is Mike and Kyle from the Fantasy Phenom. We are back to recap a 8-game slate on Sunday and look forward to Monday's 7-game slate, which seems to start in a couple minutes at this point. We're on so late tonight. What's up, Missy?
What's up?
What's up, Missy?
Mike says hi.
Hi, Mike.
She says hi.
Hi.
I don't know why she's still awake.
It's a 6-game slate, by the way. That's 2 shows in a row, Kyle.
No, it's not. It's a 7-game slate.
Are you sure?
Nope, it's a 6-game slate.
Wow, you just made me think twice. God.
Damn it.
It's actually only a 5-game main slate.
Yeah, but it's a 6-game overall slate, Mike.
Because the first game is the makeup from the really wet floor game.
Kyle, are you drunk? No, I mean, I do have a glass of whiskey with me tonight, but I'm not drunk yet. I did go out earlier, though. Dude, Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I went to the batting cages today, and I made contact on 4 of 50 pitches. I was pretty proud of myself.
What is that? What are those percentages? That's like 10%, right?
That would be 2 out of 25, which is... Or no, that would be 8%.
Solid batting average.
I didn't say I put them in play. I made contact. Some of them were foul tips.
Okay. I love the batting cage, man.
Dude, okay, in my defense, the bat was meant for an 8-year-old. Like, it was that small. It was the only one they had left. And they were like, because every other cage was in use, they were like, I have this bat left. And I was like, fuck it, whatever. Let's just use it.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I'm just not.
I hate you.
Anyway, what I was saying is that this Sacramento-Philly game, it's the makeup from the...
What, floor game?
Yeah, the Boogie mopping the floor. Remember that?
Yep. I think Boogie's going to mop the floor tomorrow, too.
In one way or another.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a sight, though. I remember I was like, what the hell am I watching?
Boogie's going to have himself a game tomorrow. I'm calling that.
Yeah, perhaps without if there's no Embiid tomorrow, I don't know who's going to try and stop him.
I mean, even with Embiid, he's not going to stop him. But yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, this was a good game. Last time they played with Embiid and Sac, that was a fun game to watch. I remember I watched it down the stretch.
Those two love each other as well.
I'm sure.
Those two are boys.
Bros. Yeah.
I did okay tonight. I made $7. I didn't hit quite as much as I wanted to. I did better than Mike, though.
Yeah, you beat me by $1. I didn't cash in any of my double ups, but I had 2 tournament lineups that cashed everywhere, and so I was able to recoup all of my cash lineups buy-in.
What was I gonna say? Shit, Mike, you made me forgot.
You're talking about your lineup.
Oh, for those of you that play DraftKings, how were the projections? Let me know. Obviously, I didn't use them. I didn't play DraftKings tonight. But I still have to go back and cross-reference what the scores were. But if you played DraftKings, let me know how they did.
Yeah, to be honest, I worked all right up until lock, and so I was like right before I got off work building my lineups, and I honestly totally spaced on the projection thing. So I was just out of my element.
Yeah, I'm interested. Someone asked, with the spreadsheets, are they going to be geared toward DraftKings? And the answer is yes. We're already working on getting that there, as you can tell with the projections. The optimizer's coming, and then I'll have position and pricing soon. Tonight, obviously, I got home at 10:45 my time, so they're all coming, I promise. I have a PayPal subscription set up now, and so for those of you that are unfamiliar with PayPal, You also can use credit cards on PayPal, by the way. You just have to create an account, and you can link a credit card. So PayPal is very widespread now. It's not just a bank anymore, or a debit card link. So you can use a credit card with PayPal and do the subscription thing. How it's going to be set up is the subscription runs for 6 months, right? Because that's up until the end of basketball season. Just because I'm not prepared to pay for charge for baseball yet until I feel confident in our projections and whatnot. And obviously me and Mike will get there. Hopefully by that point, that'll be 4 months into baseball season, 3 months into baseball season. If we're not up and ready by then we're in trouble. But I just can't guarantee anything, so I'm not going to make you pay for it yet. But those will launch on Wednesday. For those of you that are interested, I will send out the subscribe button tomorrow night. So I'm just finalizing everything on the PayPal end. And then I will, for those of you that want to subscribe early and whatnot, just get it out of the way. It'll be there for you. So we'll be good to go.
Yep, coming soon. Definitely coming up soon. So just keep an eye out for everything. Make sure you're on top of it. It was an interesting day in basketball today. We had that 4 overtime game to start out, and then the Mavs beat the Spurs in San Antonio. I don't know. It just seemed like an interesting day watching the games.
Lil Curry went off.
Yeah, surprising. I didn't think he had it in him, but
You know what?
he had a good game.
Yeah. I think what made the difference is he played more shooting guard with Yogi Ferrell playing. So the Spurs are much worse against shooting guards than they are point guards. So that, I think, opened it up for him.
It's kind of his natural position as well. So maybe he felt more comfortable as well. Yeah, I think we saw the Magic beat the Raptors today too. So definitely a different Sunday. Maybe, I don't know. Definitely a different Sunday.
Did you watch the Pro Bowl at all?
Hell no.
Neither did I. That's a useless game.
Hell no. I watch basketball all day, man.
I played baseball. That was fun. I got to the point where Amo just started bunting. Alright, so Brooklyn and Miami, we have a rematch again. Hassan Whiteside did terrible last time. Brook Lopez, that law is in effect today. Tyler Johnson is believed to be back tomorrow, correct?
Tyler Johnson has been, he's still listed as questionable, but it seems like he almost played last game. I know that was kind of like a late news that we got about him not playing, so he's looking to be back. And that obviously is going to factor a lot into what they're doing in this backcourt. Now, before I would get started, I just want to mention for all the DraftKings players, tomorrow you either play the 5-game main slate that does not include the early game that starts at 6 my time, or you play a 2-game early slate that would include the Sacramento-Philly game, and it also includes this Brooklyn-Miami game. So just so you guys know that.
Okay, interesting.
I'm not sure how it is on FanDuel.
FanDuel, there's an all-day slate and then a main slate.
But I kind of like those 2 early games, so I think that early slate is somewhat interesting.
It definitely is a lot to play in that early slate. 2 high-scoring games it'll be, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of plays coming out of those 2.
Goran Dragic obviously is in play, regardless of if Tyler Johnson plays.
Yeah, I mean, Dragic's price has been elevated, I think, within these 5 games that they've been out. I mean, his usage rate has skyrocketed to close to 30% without Tyler Johnson on the floor. He has only two 40-plus DraftKings point games in those last five. So without Tyler Johnson, he's only hit 40 DraftKings points twice, and that's kind of where I'd want him at 7,800. You know.
I agree.
So I think his price is obviously in a great matchup, but his price is not ideal.
You know what I learned from that though is we talked about Drew Holiday last night being high priced, but the dude went out and balled again today too. So I don't know. I think you have to pay for upside.
Yeah, I think he's obviously on elite tournament play at point guard today. Like, he's not out of play, but in cash when you're evaluating people based on their price and their floor, I feel like you can find something better at point guard tomorrow than Dragic.
Here's something to keep in mind. As you can see, Dallas Mavericks are the best team against point guards. Yogi Ferrell is starting for them. So I think that number can be thrown out the window tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we said a couple of days ago about on-court matchup. You know, you can read into these fantasy numbers all you want, but it's still Yogi Ferrell playing. I didn't see how Tony Parker did today against him, but Tony Parker's no Kyrie Irving, so I think Kyrie's obviously got a good on-court matchup, and Yogi Ferrell, he played 30. Let me make sure this number is correct.
37 minutes, I believe.
Against the Spurs, too. So
with that, I think...
He played 36 minutes against the Spurs. So at a minimum salary, I feel like he is somewhat of a must-play tomorrow against Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, Kyrie defense is not good defense, so... Because Darren Williams and J.J. Barea are both out.
Honestly, I don't think it really would matter.
Just based on minutes alone?
Yeah, just based on minutes and price. You're not going to find anybody else on this slate that's that cheap and going to play that many minutes. And again, this is just assuming this one game isn't an outlier, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still somewhat of a gamble because it's only been one game. I did not expect him to play that many minutes today. I don't know about you.
I definitely didn't.
I didn't even expect him to start. I mean, we kind of laughed him off last night.
For what it's worth, he's not going to show up in the projections because I don't have his stats yet. I'll try and get them, but they're just not uploading on the sites that I pull my stats from. So I don't have a projection for him yet. But I think you can safely say probably a projection of around 18 to 22 points tomorrow.
Yeah, I looked up his fantasy points per minute during the time that he was in Brooklyn, and it was around 0.6 or 0.7 fantasy points per minute. So you extrapolate that to 35 minutes, and you're looking, like you said, low 20s.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. 18 to 22 is what my projection would be, but I don't have a formulated number for him as of right now. Hopefully, in the time that we do the show and the sheets go out, I will have data on him, and I can do that, but I just don't have it right now. So, Isaiah Thomas is my must play tomorrow at point guard.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care about his price.
What can you say about Isaiah Thomas, man? I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, he is balling like crazy right now. He's got 30-plus real-life points in 6 of his last 9. He's shooting 50% in his last 10 games. He's 6th overall in the NBA in usage at 37%, and he's like, his true shooting number is unreal. So I think it's 60 or 65% true shooting right now. So I don't know, man. His price just continues to rise, and it's somewhat easier to do on DraftKings. But I find him I find myself playing Isaiah Thomas in tournaments every time he plays.
I think you have to. You know what I saw a stat though? It was funny, or not a stat. The Celtics beat writer asked him, because in the Orlando game, he didn't play the fourth quarter, and he was like, "So after this game, your fourth quarter average numbers are going to drop." And he's like, "I think if I don't play the fourth quarter, it shouldn't be counted as a game." That's just how good he's been in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and with that,
it's crazy to me that he can elevate his game like this.
Boston in itself is absolutely rolling right now.
And he's got a lot to do with that, man.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I could be crazy, and this is just my Boston side coming out in me. They've played extremely well without Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley is a pretty good player. Can Avery Bradley now be a trade piece?
Oh, I definitely agree. I mean, when they signed Isaiah Thomas, they didn't. Isaiah Thomas had never really proven himself as this type of player when they signed him, right?
Exactly.
So if you think about a front office, when they're looking to what kind of point guard do we want to go out and get? I mean, obviously they're not upset with what Isaiah Thomas is doing, but it wasn't how they built their team. So now that this guy is a a top 5 usage player, and you have a two guard that he's a scorer,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do they try and adjust their game plan, or do they trade their off their assets?
Here's the thing: they're not going to trade Jaylen Brown, and so you now have Isaiah Thomas, Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley, and Jaylen Brown, all viable backcourt options. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is a lock; you're not getting rid of him, and I don't think you're getting rid of Jaylen Brown. So then it comes down to Avery Bradley and Marcus Smart, and Terry Rozier is a very capable backup. So, I mean, the backcourt is really, really crowded. And obviously the Boston Celtics lack big men. I just feel like at some point there's going to be a trade that goes down, and it's going to be Smart or Bradley that's gone.
I do think getting rid of Bradley, you're sacrificing a lot defensively. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is not a good defender. And we've seen without Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder doing more offensively, he's having his worst defensive rating year of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I looked this up today, when you look at a defensive rating for starting point guards in the NBA, the worst 5 are Moutier, Reggie Jackson, Darren Collison, Derrick Rose, and Isaiah Thomas.
Makes sense.
So, I think getting rid of Bradley, I think they kind of need him for his defense.
So, wait, who is that? So, Moutier?
This is defensive rating, so that is
Moutier, Jackson.
Points allowed per 100 possessions.
Yeah, Moutier, Jackson.
Moutier, Jackson, Collison, Rose, Thomas, and those are starting point guards.
Okay. I mean, none of those teams are in the top 10 defensive-wise against point guards, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
I was just looking at DVP to kind of gauge that.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's inflated and flawed as well.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with pace of play.
Someone just asked, would we really take IT2 over Irving, even at his cost? Yes.
I mean,
there's no doubt in my mind.
They're both in play. I mean, they're both in play in tournaments. I don't know if I'd go either in cash, but in tournaments, obviously, I always have Thomas.
Here's my take on that is, I think the Cavs' big 3 are very, very safe for cash games. They seem to always hit or come close to 5 times value. I rarely see them exceeding 6 times value.
Yeah, and when we're looking at this slate, obviously what you're saying is true. When you look at the slate as well, the Dallas-Cleveland game, it's got a lot of question marks. Earlier this year in Cleveland, Dallas was blown out. Granted, Kyrie had a really good game, but still, that game was a super blowout, and none of the starters played the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that happening again when you look at this Dallas team. even though they just beat the Spurs, they're on a back-to-back, and I don't know. I could see it happening again.
I agree.
I could also see it being a very low-scoring game with both teams being on a back-to-back, and no Kevin Love, and perhaps no Dirk if they decide to rest him. Who knows?
And Lou talks about restricting minutes before the All-Star game. I don't know.
Yeah, and I just, with Isaiah Thomas is on another level. I just mentioned Reggie Jackson in that bottom 5,
Mm-hmm.
and that's who he's going up against. So
honestly, you could take both of them.
Yeah, I think I have both of them in the lineup that I've made tonight.
Yeah. So, Mike Conley against Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe's been good on defense recently. I don't think that's a lock anymore.
Yeah, obviously something to be said for all the Memphis guys playing Phoenix up in pace. Who do you think controls the pace in this game? Do you think it's a Memphis
Phoenix
bringing the pace down? Think Phoenix brings the pace up?
I do.
Yeah, then to me it's somewhat of a wash. I think I'd rather play Conley over Bledsoe, but I don't think I'm going to even go there. I think I like the other guys we've already mentioned.
Yeah, at that price, I'd rather pay $400 more for Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, definitely. And Isaiah Thomas is 9,400 on DraftKings, and Bledsoe is 9,000. So same difference.
Ricky Rubio against Elfrid Payton, strictly a tournament play. And then you can go vice versa, but that's also a tournament play.
Yeah, I think I like Reggie Jackson in that price range the best.
Agree with that.
For sure.
And then Darren Collison against Philly, who surprisingly has been really bad against point guards recently. I still don't like him tomorrow. I'd rather go TJ McConnell.
Me too, man. I really liked some TJ McConnell. I played him today. I hope you guys did too after what I said last night. And
I did as well. Yep, he ended up in some of the optimals.
He's been very efficient. His usage rate is extremely low. This guy is not trying to score the ball. However, get this: he has the 5th highest assist percentage in the league, behind Westbrook, Harden, Chris Paul, and John Wall.
Wow.
That to me makes him an elite 2-man stack with Embiid going forward because of his price. The fact that a lot of his assists, I imagine, are going to him or
Embiid.
I mean, yeah.
Even Covington.
Yeah, or Covington, man. The fact that he's accounting for 40% of his team's made baskets on assists.
Yeah,
it's pretty nuts.
That's a good stat.
He didn't even start this year.
Dude, he was an afterthought.
He came undrafted too.
Yeah, everyone thought TJ McConnell was a scrub.
I thought that was a crazy stat.
This Philly team is young and they're nice, man.
Fun to watch for sure. I need to get myself to a game.
Yeah, you're close enough.
Yeah, just gotta hop on a train, man.
Looking at shooting guard, Dion Waiters. I don't think his play is affected too much with Tyler Johnson coming back because of how hot he's been. I think Rodney McGruder is the one, and Wayne Ellington are the ones that suffer and lose playing time.
Yeah, Wayne. Obviously, they're all going to somewhat suffer, but I think Wayne Ellington's one that suffers the most. I like that price for Waiters on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's $7,000, and it's a little too much for me. He's obviously still a tournament play, and Waiters is nuts, man. I came to play with stats tonight. He is top 10 in usage in the NBA over the last week.
Obviously, that has a lot to do without Tyler Johnson, but yes.
But still, his usage rate over the last week is higher than Kyrie Irving. It's higher than Kyle Lowry. It's higher than Giannis. It's higher than Dame.
He's brought up the ball almost as much as Goran Dragic does, if not more.
Yeah, he's got a higher usage rate than Dragic. So it's like, and he's like one of those guys that you can't tell him nothing, man. Like if he is shooting the ball and he's like, nah, I'm taking it up. And they're like, all right, yeah, you're right. You're taking it up.
Dragic has been deferring to him a lot. He's just kind of like, okay, let him bring the ball up,
Yep, and this Brooklyn game, I don't know if Dragic is if Johnson is back. I somewhat caution that in tournaments on DraftKings, but I think it's still something you can do on FanDuel.
In this Cleveland Dallas game, I think you have to go back to Baby Curry.
Baby Curry.
By the way, he's the better of the two brothers, but that's a debate for another day.
Perhaps, yeah. I don't know, man. Perhaps I'm still biased over the other day when he started and didn't do shit.
It's going to be people will label it as point chasing, and his ownership will be somewhat higher tomorrow. But
No.
he has a really good matchup going up against Cleveland shooting guards. So I just think, when you're playing matchups, I think you have to consider it.
Now, if I were to tell you on DraftKings he's 5,300 and Wes Matthews is 4,500, would that change your perspective a little bit?
What the fuck? That's the exact opposite. Wes Matthews is 54 on FanDuel, and Curry is 43 on FanDuel.
So I'm saying, does that change your...
Fuck yeah, you're going Wes Matthews.
Yeah, so I think that's where I'm at.
That's crazy.
FanDuel, yeah. So Wes Matthews, I mean, it's caution to me because I watched the game today seeing what they were going to do with Kawhi. Like, who was going to be on Kawhi. And I also wanted to see what they were going to do with, Yogi Ferrell and Wes Matthews' first game back. So I decided to watch this game. And it was a good game to watch. I digress. So, yeah, Wes Matthews was on Kawhi. So I think he's going to be on LeBron, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I agree. And to the opposite point, the Cavaliers have struggled mightily against small forwards. They've been giving up a ton of points to small forwards. I don't know why LeBron is, or whether it has to do more with LeBron or what's kind of going on there. But if Wes Matthews starts at small forward, then he's, especially on DraftKings, the better play.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, his first game back from injury, I mean, I guess it wasn't really that big of an injury because he played 31 minutes and he was on Kawhi. And he actually kept Kawhi to a subpar shooting night tonight, like under 40%. And he himself had a nice line, 17, 7, 3, and 2 blocks.
So, Wes can play a little bit of defense. He's not a bad defender. So
we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm curious.
Avery Bradley is a game time decision tomorrow. He was ruled out up until Sunday, so today or yesterday, whenever. But there's no news on whether he's going to play tomorrow, as of right now.
Yeah, I feel like this happened before, where the report was based on what Brad Stevens said about how many. He's definitely going to be out next couple games.
Yeah,
is like what he's been saying, and so the official designation's been based on that, that speculation.
I don't know if they rush him back, and I don't know if they have a need to with how Boston's playing right now.
It seems to be like that's what's going on,
Like, just let him get fully healthy.
They don't need to, so.
If he doesn't play, Jaylen Brown is... I don't want to say he's a good play, because he's going to be going up against KCP, but who is by far and away their best defender. But for the price, $3,900 is not bad. And Jaylen Brown is showing his potential. Showing the reason why I was so high on him.
Yeah, I'm learning to not read too much into these matchups with what we call scrubs based on their price, because some of these scrubs can play given the minutes. I mean, I'm learning that if these guys get minutes at low cost, they become good plays.
Well, you have to think of
it. They
allow
you to do a lot.
Yeah, and you have to think of it from this. I mean, Jaylen Brown is not a scrub in the general sense of he's not your typical backup, right? He's not the guy that's coming off the bench and he's just not a good player. He couldn't beat out the starters. He's a rookie, but he was the number 3 pick, and so there's obviously potential there. He just has the price he does because of the minutes. So
he's growing too, and he's been playing well. I think you're going to see a lot of people on him tomorrow. He's 3,600 on DraftKings, and if he gets 30 minutes, which he did the last 2 games, he's definitely in consideration for me tomorrow.
Absolutely. KCP, on the other hand, I don't know if you attack Boston shooting guards like you did when Marcus Smart was playing. So when Marcus Smart was starting, Boston was terrible against shooting guards. But Jaylen Brown is now in that role as the starter. And he's been a better defender than Marcus Smart has.
Yeah, my thing with KCP, I mean, this goes back to last year. He's just forever somewhat of a tournament play because when he's off, he's so off that it keeps his price low enough for that when he's on, he crushes value. You know, he never really gets to right around 5 times value. He's just one of those guys that is either off or on. He seems to be streaky. He seems to streak together a few games. If it's any consolation, he had a terrible game against Miami last time out. So I don't think you have to go there. I don't think there's too many really high priced guys that I'm looking at that I have to try and pay down in tournaments to something like that.
I agree. Devin Booker against Tony Allen. I don't know if I want to pay up $6,800 for Devin Booker tomorrow on this slate.
I don't think I want to either.
It's not that he's a bad play. It's just I think I want to spend down at shooting guard tomorrow. That seems to be a common theme for me.
Same. I haven't really messed with making tournament lineups. I would not advocate playing either of these backcourt guys against Memphis. Obviously, we know that they are the whole team for Phoenix. So
you could go the opposite, though. You could go Tony Allen.
You could, yeah. I think you definitely could. I mean,
tournament play.
Yeah, I think most people in that game are tournament plays. Perhaps 1 or 2 guys on Memphis could go in cash.
I think you can go Zach LaVine as well tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's an elite tournament play tomorrow. I like that play.
You know, we matched up with C.J. Watson.
He had a career game against Orlando earlier this year. Something like almost 40 points. But I mean, that's just based on if he's shooting hot. That's how LaVine is, you know.
He's streaky.
If he comes out and he's hot, starting out the game, you're in to get your money's worth. But if he's not, then. And I will say, over the last 5 games, he's 8 for 28 from 3, which is 28% from behind the arc in the last 5 games. So he's not really hot right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a tournament play, purely. And then the other one I'm looking at is Garrett Temple against Philly is in play.
Yeah, he seems to be like a safe value play, you know. Limited ceiling in a good spot.
Yeah. At small forward, I mean, you could try and guess the Brooklyn small forward situation. If you hit on the value, awesome.
I got some analysis for you today.
Let's hear it.
So Hollis Jefferson is questionable. He left.
I did hear that.
Second quarter of last game. He had an ankle injury of sorts. Doesn't seem to be serious at all. They're listing it as a sore ankle. But in his absence, LeVert played a season high in minutes, 28 minutes. So there could be something with that. He's only 4,000 on DraftKings. Obviously, he's the highest upside of the 3. But I think that puts LeVert and Bogdanovic into higher tournament consideration than they would be with Hollis Jefferson in the rotation.
Agree with that. Okay.
Maybe one of those guys can hit 30 tomorrow.
Harrison Barnes is in play for me against Cleveland.
I haven't been playing Barnesy much, man. I don't know. He just seems to be lacking in peripherals. I guess there's no Kevin Love tomorrow, and that's who he's going to be going up against. So I guess he's going to have a good on-court matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
If they decide to rest Dirk, I am going to take a strong look at Barnes.
You have to if they rest Dirk.
Yeah, if not, I don't know. I'm gonna be looking there over Crowder or over some of the other swing players.
LeBron's a hard fade for me tomorrow.
I can see that.
I'd rather pay up for IT and Boogie.
I like Towns too tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. Towns as well. Jay Crowder against Detroit. I mean, Jay Crowder's hot. Hot.
So I mentioned that defensive rating stat about his worst season. Get this. He has a 16% usage rate on the year in the
Last five.
last five without Bradley. 20%, which is second on the team. 16% would be last on the team. So he goes from the last usage guy on the team to the second highest starter.
Yep.
That's weird to me.
I can see it, though. They like Crowder.
That's definitely what's going on. So you got Isaiah Thomas. I put Crowder in there, too.
Yeah, you stack him. Isaiah Thomas is going to get assists to Jay Crowder. I think I'm fading the entire Memphis-Phoenix small forward situation.
So, yeah, Parsons has been playing on and then resting off. So this will be his on game. And I've noticed that the games that he doesn't play, Vince Carter gets close to 30 minutes a game. So
but he's playing tomorrow.
But he's playing tomorrow. I was just saying to keep an eye on for other people.
Andrew Wiggins and Shabazz Muhammad are in play for me tomorrow. I like Shabazz as a punt play at 3,900. And Andrew Wiggins is in a great matchup against Orlando's wings.
So we just mentioned Garrett Temple. He's a good value play in a good spot, but he's more of like a safe cash game value, similar like we talked about Evan Turner last night. Shabazz is the opposite. He is like a tournament value that can get you 35 points in a good spot.
And if he gets hot, he stays on the floor. They will play. He's their sixth man, and they will gladly shoot him all the minutes they can if he's hot.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's been like that his whole career. He came in he was at USC, I think. Anyway, he's been a streaky guy his whole career.
He's from UCLA, I believe.
UCLA. Aaron Gordon on Wiggins. I think Aaron Gordon is another guy similar to like Caldwell Pope. I feel like his price is always super low because he duds a lot, but when he doesn't dud, he exceeds value.
And him and Elfrid Payton are the only two that consistently get minutes on that team.
Yeah, if Evan Fournier comes back, I think we're going to have to reevaluate that.
True.
But he's still questionable for tomorrow. Though I think he practiced yesterday, and I think tomorrow, similar to
Bradley.
Who else did we talk about? Yeah, Bradley. He might be coming back. Or Johnson, too.
Covington is in play as well tomorrow against Sacramento.
So, yeah, I guess you have to put Covington in the
tournament.
In the same range as Jay Crowder. Same price,
Yeah.
He's only in this 2-game slate on DraftKings, so somebody didn't look at him.
At power forward, you have to look at James Johnson tomorrow.
Yeah. He had a great game last time out. This guy's obviously in great shape. I mean, he's having a career year right now.
I agree.
I caution you guys. I think if a lot of you guys are going to be looking at this last game against Brooklyn, he didn't have a good game at all. But I watched that whole game and
he wasn't involved.
Yeah, it was a comeback. So what happened was Whiteside played into midway of the second quarter, and then the Nets went into halftime with like a 15-point lead, and then they kind of kept that like to be a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then the whole fourth quarter was a Dion Waiters comeback, and James Johnson wasn't a part of that 5 on the floor, and so he never got back in the game. They ran with Okaro White because he was just part of that comeback team.
But James Johnson's in play tomorrow. 100%.
Yeah, don't let that scare you away. James Johnson's definitely in play. Okaro White, since he came onto the team, they haven't lost. They're like 8-0.
That's interesting. Miami was terrible.
Weird?
Yeah, Miami was terrible.
Yeah, Miami's like 8-0 in the last 8 games, man. I don't know.
Does Channing Frye start for Love tomorrow?
I think he might. I don't. Either way, whoever starts, Channing Frye is going to get the most minutes at power forward. I think they started James Jones a couple times without Love.
They put LeBron at the 4.
No, they started James Jones at the 4.
What the fuck? I didn't watch that. But wow.
No, they started Channing Frye at the 4, but I think the last time Love was out, they started James Jones.
I remember them starting James Jones. He had like 6 3-pointers in the first half.
Yeah, but then Channing Frye gets more minutes. I think without Love on the floor, Channing Frye's averaged over 25 minutes. Yeah, 25.8 minutes without Kevin Love on the floor. Kyrie gets a 5% usage bump, and LeBron James has averaged 55 DraftKings points. So I guess take that with what it is. I mean,
I'm still fading LeBron.
3-point special. Yeah, I mean, 55 DraftKings points isn't really value. So
yeah,
Fry's a 3-point specialist. I think something like 70% of his shots are 3-pointers.
Is Fry in play as a value play
in a tournament? Yeah, in tournaments. I don't think you like. I don't think he's like one of the best values on the slate.
I don't really think so either. If Bradley doesn't start, I'd rather go at shooting guard and look at Brown.
It's probably more in play on Fan Duel, honestly, because it's always so thin at power forward, especially on a 5-game slate like this.
Al Horford, I'd imagine, will be back tomorrow. That was an unforeseen scratch last game.
Yeah, I guess so. I overlooked him as far as injury report.
I'm talking from an Amir Johnson standpoint of if he's back, Amir Johnson is a little more limited, I think.
So we've got Andre Drummond coming in the paint. To me, that logically says more Amir Johnson over Jerebko. But
yes,
again, logic doesn't generally dictate DFS. So
they like to play Amir more on bigger guys.
Yeah, they don't. I imagine. I don't think they want to play Horford on Drummond. I think that would. I don't think that would work out well.
That's true.
I went back and watched their last game, and they tried to keep Horford off of him. So either way, yeah. So it's just something to consider, I guess. Perhaps he gets a little bit more minutes. Either way, I don't think I'd play him tomorrow.
Tobias Harris is definitely in play off the bench. I like him. John Lure also in play.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go after Boston.
Their front court. Yeah. Zach Randolph definitely in play tomorrow against Phoenix.
So if JaMychal Green is out, I really like Zach Randolph. Because Jarrell Martin's already ruled out. Deonta Davis is out. And we saw last game with
Green out. He had like 33 minutes or something, right?
38 minutes.
Oh, wow. I knew it was
38 minutes.
Don't expect to see another 38-minute performance. Maybe like 33 to 35. But
yeah, he's in a good spot against Phoenix, and his price is nice. It's $5,800 on DraftKings, and I will say that Brandon Wright is scheduled to make his season debut tomorrow. He was listed as probable.
I still see that as probably a minutes restriction, right?
Yeah, but it's someone else in that front court that could take away from 38 minutes. So maybe he gets to like low 30s tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Either way, his usage rate is through the roof, man. Zach Randolph.
I'm gonna probably not look at Georgie Dang. I'm not really gonna look at Serge. And then I think the other power forward to look at here is Ilyasova. If Embiid is out, Nerlens Noel's in play. But Ilyasova, I think, is in a good spot tomorrow.
Yeah, he had an awesome game today. He did pop on the injury report as probable.
Yeah, they said he's going to play tomorrow. But, yeah, I think it was a contusion, shoulder contusion.
Yeah, he had a shoulder bruise, yeah. So I think he's in a good spot. Noel out.
Noel's out?
Noel out.
I was going to say Embiid.
Embiid is questionable, so obviously we all know that narrative. I don't think we need to explain that to you guys anymore about Noel. Embiid's out. Yeah.
At some point, I mean, the Sixers are going to have to make a decision, and Noel is proving to be very capable. So even with Embiid, I think they're going to have to give Noel more run and probably look to get take away from Saric.
Yeah, I mean, they drafted Saric too, man. I don't know. They got a plethora of talent, that's for sure.
And then Ben Simmons is coming back. I don't know what they're going to do.
They do. They have a plethora of talent, man. And
they just have to make some moves at this point.
I mean, if I was them, I don't know that I'd do that. I mean, because all the attention's on Philly, and they have all of these pieces that why not just play two teams?
That's true.
Didn't they do that?
John Calipari, Team A and Team B?
Yeah, exactly. Why not play John Calipari basketball?
Fuck it.
It's like what they're doing, you know? I mean, when Simmons comes back, why not?
Put him, Okafor, Noel together?
Yeah. They got enough.
I could see it. Obviously, Brook Lopez, Hassan Whiteside. I'm going to stay clear of Whiteside.
8,900. Hell no.
And then Brook Lopez is a tournament play.
So Whiteside's 7,500 on DraftKings, which I still think is a little bit high. Because he's just not really a part of this offense with Waiters and Dragic taking up all the shots.
Yep.
But he's got a good matchup, so, you know, he's definitely still in tournament play, in my opinion. Maybe not on FanDuel at 8,900. That's a little ridiculous. Brook Lopez, same. I could see you doing him in tournaments too. Do I rely upon Brook Lopez to get me 40 points tomorrow?
No.
I don't know. So I don't think I'd go him in cash.
Tristan Thompson against Dallas with no Kevin Love.
That is interesting because Dallas and Dirk, I mean, seems like a yes, right?
I would think so, especially with no Kevin Love. Channing Frye's not necessarily the banging down low, getting rebounds kind of guy.
So, yeah, you have to evaluate. If you're looking at Thompson, which I kind of overlooked, so I don't have much insight, but if you're looking at Thompson, what I would do is go research rebounding statistics as far as Dallas is concerned.
Yeah.
You know, if they're allowing high rebounding percentages to their opposition, then with no Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson has to be in play at his price.
Al Horford and Andre Drummond are both in play for me. At least they deserve a look. Andre Drummond ate up Boston last time they played, I believe.
Did he? I don't know.
Let me check his stats. I believe he did.
Yeah, I just went back and watched the highlights of the game. I didn't look at the stats. Because I was trying to see who they were going to put on Drummond, and it still was inconclusive. But yeah, Drummond's coming off a good game at 8,000. So on tournaments at 8,000, I think you want, 45 points?
Maybe
50, something
probably
like that.
Probably closer to 50, yeah.
Yeah, and he's only got 45 DraftKings points in 3 out of his last 10 games. Boston is a bottom 10 team in opposing rebounds.
Yeah,
they are a bottom.
He had 48 points against Boston last time.
There you go. They're a bottom 5 team in opposing second chance points, so putbacks, you know. Definitely some stats to back up the play.
And then I think lastly, the other two centers I'm looking at are Towns and Cousins. But I'm gonna go Boogie over Towns tomorrow.
So
in the all day slate. If I'm looking main, then obviously Towns because that removes Boogie.
Yeah, I like Towns a lot tomorrow. I really do. I mean, I think he's going to be on. I went back and watched the highlights of that last game they played to see who's going to be on Towns, and they put Ibaka on him. They put Ibaka or Biyombo. Vucevic was never on Towns. It somewhat made me question whether I was going to have that play tomorrow, but If you look at the stats, Orlando is bottom. They're a bottom 5 team in points in the paint to their opposition. I don't know. Towns is on another level right now, and I don't think I'm going to fade him in cash tomorrow. I could see myself going to someone like Dirk or Zebo, who are center eligible on DraftKings in like a tournament.
Yeah.
Or even Drummond or Whiteside in a tournament. But I don't think in cash I'm going to fade Towns.
Agree with that. You could also I'm not really high on him, but you could look at Koufos tomorrow, Costa Koufos.
I don't know.
That's more of a DraftKings play.
Perhaps.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, but sorry about going on so late again. Just so happens to be the way the schedule's going right now. Housekeeping as usual. Facebook business page, Twitter, Facebook group. Make sure you're in all of those. You have 2 days left to get on this email sheet if you would like the grandfathered price for the subscription. After that, even if you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you're going to have to, well, if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you can prove to me that you were subscribed before the first, then you can have the grandfathered price. But other than that, the easiest way is just get into the email list, and then you'll get the grandfathered price, which is $250. But make sure you're in all these the social media groups. Mike's releasing more and more content with his design work. Obviously, we've got Vegas lines, injury news, and pivots, things like that. So when he has time, he's releasing more and more stuff. So it's just a bunch of good things to look forward to.
Yeah, so tomorrow my plan is, if you guys aren't on Twitter following at Fantasy Phenom, you need to do so, because tomorrow I'm going to provide all of the content on Twitter as well as Facebook. So if you're not in the group, or if you want to be on Twitter as well, and you're going to get the content there. The winners. Not only am I going to announce the winners of each contest tonight, but tomorrow is going to be I'm going to announce the power rankings as to where everyone stands. Again, if you are unfamiliar, we have a free contest in both DraftKings and FanDuel. It's an everyday thing, and if you place in the top 5, you earn points toward a progressive total, and at the end of the season, we'll have a head-to-head bracket-style tournament for a prize package where you're going to win a jersey of your favorite player and some other cool stuff as well. Today, Danny Williams, 74, blew everyone away in the Money Melee. Had a line of 341.5. I know that was going to be a top 10 line or even a top 20 line in most tournaments. So I hope you made some money tonight. Congratulations. Yeah, he decided to go Rondo again, 30-plus points again. Crazy. And on FanDuel was actually a tie. A tie first. S. Schick, I see you at 350.2. And also with that 350.2 total was Land Sharks 23. So congratulations to you guys, and it's going to go a long way for getting on the leaderboard. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna put up our Vegas lines. On the Vegas lines is going to have top 5 DVP on the slate. I'm also going to update injury news closer to lock. So yeah, keep an eye out. Good stuff coming out.
Yeah, definitely. And like always, if you guys need any graphic design work done, Mike is the guy to go to. He does it on the side. He's a freelancer, so he can definitely help you guys out, get some work done. So make sure to check him out.
That.
Always. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to catch a nap real quick. I got work in 2 hours. So thank you guys for tuning in. we will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful night. Thank you again for tuning in.